Welcome back to the unofficial Maple Leaf post-game breakdown. Bit of a tough one tonight. I'll say that. Not really sure in which direction I want to take this tonight. I didn't even take any notes. Honestly, I just watched this game, pure emotion, just to see where the boys are at. You know, like I didn't want to miss anything. I wanted to just see this game off of pure emotion and see how do we really look here? Like what is going on? And I don't know. Honestly, the one thing I kept hearing going into this game was the Leafs are going to tell you tonight which way the season needs to go. And clearly we have an answer to that question now after tonight losing 7-4 to the Buffalo Sabres, but you know, going in it was either the Leafs are going to win tonight and yeah, they had a rough homestand, but you can kind of build at the deadline and maybe acquire some pieces, do something to just retool just a little bit here to see if you can make some sort of run in the playoffs. But if they lose, it's got to be pretty much a teardown. Maybe not right to the ground or the foundation, but there's got to be a pretty decent major rebuild here to try to get this team in contention in the next couple years here. You got Austin Matthews in the prime of his career. Nylander, Tavares still has a couple years left at best. Nyes is looking good still. You have hopefully a bright future with him. But yeah, like it's one of those things now. You really have to just make an actual decision on where you want this to go, because if you just let it sort of stagnate and be the way that it is all the way to the end and just think, it's not our year, like that's going to make it worse. It was either push for the playoffs or you got to sell, acquire some draft picks, or just, put this team in a place where they can succeed in the future and just punt this one to next year and just say whatever. So clearly that's the answer for this team now. They're not going to make the playoffs, which sucks because I really, really believe they did. I even said a couple of shows ago that I truly didn't believe that they were going to miss the playoffs. But at this point, this team just does not have it. They don't seemingly have enough skill somehow. I think injuries have been a problem for sure, but I think they have some lingering players on the team. Riley comes to mind first that they need to move on from. And just tear it down a little bit, get a couple of picks, get some other players in here, change the look of the dressing room, the vibes in it maybe, and just see what you can do to this team to put them in a really good position going forward. And it sucks because, for my basically entire adult life, the Leafs have made the playoffs and at least made it interesting. That was sort of the fun thing about this era of Leafs hockey is it was so optimistic, with your core four and your Matthews, your Marner, Nylander, and then Tavares comes in, and there was so much optimism for the future. And what do we get out of that? We get 2 playoff series wins in basically a decade. That's tough. If you asked me at the beginning of all of this modern era of Leafs hockey, what would happen in 9-10 years from now, I couldn't possibly have imagined that this was the way that it ended. Not even close. It's rather shocking, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm not trying to make this a eulogy about the Leafs right now, but I mean, just after a win like tonight, when it's always a game that they need to have. I'll get to the Vegas game in a minute, but it's always a game they need to have where there's a defining moment in the season on the line, or there's a personal reason, or even just if you need to really win it for the fans because you haven't been doing great. They just shit the bed every single time. It's so heart-wrenching as a fan to believe in this team, and then you got 24 Amber Heards on the ice just shitting all over the place. It's fucking ridiculous. Honestly, I don't know. It's tough. It's really tough. I don't even know what they can do for the future. I mean, you look at Boston and you go, okay, they tore it down and came back pretty quick, and that was like kind of in the midst of Pasternak's career there. So they didn't really waste too many years on him. There's been a couple other teams that have retooled in the offseason to kind of make it back in contention in the next year or two. It's just mind blowing how this team is just dead every single night. And look, they put up 4 goals tonight. You know, they had a half decent effort where they at least they looked like they were trying for the most part overall, I would say. And then there's just very small segments in this game, little bit by little bit, where they just give up. They give up for 30 seconds, maybe 2 minutes, and then they get scored on. And you just have those little blips throughout the course of the game, and that just kills you. I don't understand it. They have another little fake comeback where they get a goal late, Matthews to Domi, and it's like, oh, we're gonna do something, and they don't. Leafs needed a save tonight too. Leafs needed a save on many of those different goals. Like I don't know. Putting Stolarz in net for Vegas was a fucking war crime at this point. Um, Wolves played all right. I don't understand why we just seem to not like Dennis Hildeby after he's played, pretty damn good for the entire season for the most part. Now we go back to Wall and Stolarz. Wall seems to be slipping dramatically, and I know there was a couple tips tonight that were just awkward, but those are the type of goals that you let in when your team is just struggling. The hockey gods know it. You're just not meant to win it. Um, and maybe it's a sign that you really have to do something with this team at this point because it's ridiculous. But I mean, you go 0 for 5 on your homestand in front of your own fans who pay astronomical ticket prices and brave the weather and do everything they can to get to the games, come out, support, cheer, bring the kids in, for the Avalanche game. And what do you guys get? What do we get? That's what we get. We get a nice crispy middle finger when it's minus 25, minus 30 with 2 feet of snow. That's what we get. So, yeah, it's a tough one tonight. I think that just sums it up as best I can. So, I don't know. I mean, this Olympic break is going to be great for everybody, including the fans, because the fans need a break from this team. They need some emotional rest here because it's tough. There's some graves being dug right now, unfortunately. But that's really all I can say. I mean, there's nothing else to add. I don't want to kick them anymore when they're down, clearly. If you're tuning in, appreciate it. If not, you should be. So I'll see you in the next one, hopefully. Cheers.